Okay, Paddy Davick, if you're able to kick us off, please.
Daniel, thanks for your time. Ultimately, not to be out of the cup, but just give us initially your overall assessment tonight's performance.
Well, in general, it's a fact after this game we won't win the Carabao Cup during this season, and that's it. So not more, not less. I'm disappointed with this. You know how much I also value this cup and would have liked to win this cup. But we had also to be smart in our team selection today, and of course also to rest some players because we have a few players who missed preseason or came pretty late or had to play many minutes. For that, we had to be a bit smart in our team selection today. For that we played also, with many players who didn't have many minutes in the last week. So I was overall really pleased with our performance. I think we have created so many situations against a good Liverpool side. But anyhow, we were not able to convert even the best chances. Not to speak about the penalty in the first half was, of course, a key moment. But we had so many other good situations in the first half. In the second half, I think we had Pierre Lesmelou in a situation where he should have scored. We had Timo Pukki in a situation where he normally scores. We had Adam Ina in a situation where he should have scored and created many chances. But the fact is we didn't convert the situations. And in general, I think also our defending behavior in our team tactical behavior, I was quite pleased how we interpreted also our base formation today. I think we saved our attacks much better, controlled the center, had always pressure on the ball in the center, on the wings, controlled also their counters. Yes, but if they have 3 shots on target and all 3 shots are in and Angus Gunn doesn't have a save to make and they are able to convert their 3 chances into goals, then you lose a game of football if you don't use your many chances, although you had more shots on target than them. And for example, scenes like Pierre Lesmelou was not even a shot on target, although he should have scored. So in general, overall, I got the feeling so for this team selection, the circumstances, a good performance. Also, their attitude, even after they scored the 3rd goal, we tried everything and created even chances in the last minutes. Was not really pleased with our last 10 minutes in the last league game, I have to say. So many points I liked about this game, but definitely the fact that we lost this game is not a fact that I like, and also that they were able to convert the situation to 3 goals, also not overly great. So for that, yes, we're still disappointed we lost this game.
Obviously, big moments in games, penalty notably at 1-0. Just clear up, Daniel, was there a bit of a debate over who was taking that penalty?
Yes, because Christos was not the first on the team sheet, but he was there with a good performance. Created also the situation. Then he got too greedy, so a naive mistake of a young player, and everyone on the pitch got probably the feeling, oh, he's there with a good performance, and he has a fantastic strike, and he scored also penalties in his career. Okay, if he's that confident, okay, we allow him to take this penalty. But if you do this, you have to make sure that you score, otherwise you're in trouble. And believe me, so yes, when you work with young players, you have to accept that there sometimes are there with unbelievable naive mistakes, if I'm honest. But believe me, after I've spoken with him, one thing is for sure, he will do this mistake never ever in his life again. That's definitely for sure.
From that last part of your answer there, you're obviously very unhappy maybe that if he wasn't a designated penalty taker, he's taking it.
I love Christos Solis, and he will have a great impact for us. I think also today he had many good scenes, and he's an emotional player from Greece anyhow, and was then overexcited. Everyone knows what he's capable of. But discipline and to stick to what we want to do is also quite important. Yeah, believe me, I was not overly happy with the scene, and in our conversation, I have made it already crystal clear. And it will be crystal clear, and believe me, after our discussion, he will never ever do such a mistake again. But it's also important that we don't bury him alive. I was a striker, and to be really honest, I have of course to punish him, but I've also taken penalties, although I was not on the team sheet, because I was so confident I would score. And tell you what, I even missed the penalty anyhow. But for that, I had to pay the record fine in my whole career. Because I deserve this anyhow. If I act then by losing the head a little bit, yes, I'm a bit protected by being young anyhow, and have to learn the lesson. But believe me, after I did this, I never had this mistake again. And for that, yes, I know I work with human beings. Sometimes there was mistakes, and especially once you work with young players, it's not a guarantee that if a different player would have taken the penalty, he would have scored anyhow. And even if Christoph would have scored the situation, I would still have punished him after the game, believe me, because the outcome is not then important. But of course, it's then even a bit more obvious if he doesn't score. This is a pretty tough conversation also for this young guy, and not an easy conversation that he will have again. So, it costs us today that we won't win the Carabao Cup, or perhaps it cost us that. Perhaps we would have even lost if we would have scored the penalty. But the outcome is that it could have cost us perhaps the game tonight, and this is quite costly. And you will learn from this. That's definitely for sure. But also not more. And for that, this topic is then also from tomorrow on done. And believe me, in a league game, no player will ever do this.
Final one from me, Daniel. Obviously, there was a lot of talk about the shape before the game, and you did try the defensive three. Result hasn't gone for you, but are you happy with a lot of things you saw with that base formation? And is that clearly now something moving forward you could see yourself doing again?
Well, and our team technical behavior was quite pleased, because again, we saved our attacks much better. We had more control over the center. We had enough player behind the ball once we lost the balls. We had always pressure. With our team technical behavior, I was quite pleased. But I tell you what, I was even convinced that even in form information that would be the case, because we pointed really with the finger into the mistakes that we've done in the Watford game. And but I have to say, so for that we played then also in this constellation with some fringe players the first time in the setup, I think it it worked quite well. But of course, if we still concede goals, there's still a topic that we have to improve. And of course, the goals that we have conceded were too cheap. But today it didn't have to do anything with our tactical behavior. It was really like individual behavior in our last row, and this is definitely a topic we have to work on. We spoke about this topic also after the last game, but it's also not like you press a button and then 2 days later you're perfect in your behavior, especially not when some players are coming in. You didn't have that many minutes in the last weeks. It's more like a process, and we have to roll the sleeves up and work also like on these topics, and also help with the team selection for the next game, because this is still a topic we need to improve. But all the other tactical movements, I think, were today much better.
That's your time, Daniel. Cheers.
Thank you, Paddy.
Cheers, Paddy. Okay, Tom Williams, please, from the BBC.
Hi there, Daniel. Is it too simplistic to say it was the same old story for Norwich tonight? Didn't take your chances, but the other team did?
Today, I would sum this game up like this. Yes, I'm not sure if it's the same old story anyhow. Probably all the opponents in the last season would have said, oh, it's the same old story anyhow. Norwich take their chances and we didn't, and so we lost to Norwich. But at least for the last games, that's definitely for sure. So we had also games where we deserved to lose the game. Yeah, Man City, for example, against Leicester, my gut feeling was we deserved much more in this game. Also, Arsenal was a bit unlucky, but tonight is also like definitely a fact. Yeah, they had 3 shots on target. They scored. We had many more shots on target than them, and even chances like Pierre Melou should have scored in this situation was not even a shot on target anyhow. At least from the statistic anyhow. Yesterday it was a fact we didn't use our chances and they used theirs.
You obviously spoke about mistakes after the last game. There were some mistakes again tonight defensively. As many, or was it the same again?
Different mistakes. Yeah, when I think about the first goal, for example, we lost in the 3-against-1 situation. The situation with the header, my striker didn't move up in order to make sure that the offensive player is in offside, and then the other players just watch the scenes instead of locking on. So there was a couple of mistakes. The second goal was also a cross where we should defend, and Origi is in between my 2 centre halves, shouldn't happen. And the third goal was also a row of mistakes where I think 6 of my players had the chance to win the ball. We're not consequent enough then in our last row. Of course, we should have done better. So different mistakes in comparison to the last game, but definitely also more or less the same topic. So our individual behavior has to be a bit more aware and a bit more spot on. Otherwise, you lose games on this level. And we face today a side, Liverpool, it's still a top class side. And even after a few changes, once Gomez comes in anyhow, so they're not much worse. Or if Keita comes in, or if Origi comes in, or one of the best young talents in English football comes in anyhow, like Gordon, they're not much worse anyhow, because they are also highly motivated to prove their point. And we lost then today against a pretty clinical side. And against this type of opponents, you have to make sure that you play without mistakes. Sadly, we produce some, and for that, one thing is for sure, we won't win the Carabao Cup this season.
Do you think your team has the belief to beat teams at this level?
Yes, of course, we have the belief. So let's be honest. So after the first 4 fixtures, it was unbelievable tough for us. Because of course you hope that you grind out perhaps a point against the likes of Man City or Liverpool or Leicester, but you can't really expect this anyhow. So the result that really has hurt was the game against Watford, because at the moment we are 3 points behind our plan, and this is annoying, and this sucks also. That's definitely for sure. But of course, if you lose in the games against Liverpool and Man City and 4 games in a row, it also does something with the self-confidence and also with the belief. But it doesn't come back if you just feel sorry for yourself. So you have to fight your way into in order to make sure that you come out of this devil's wheel and anyhow a little bit. And it's all like not to feel too sorry for yourself. Roll your sleeves up on the training pitch anyhow, also in the next games, to make sure that we grind out a result where perhaps no one expects really a result, in order to be back on track. And we have a chance to do this already on the road at Everton, where Everton is of course a favorite anyhow. But we know also today we felt it's not we are miles away from winning a game against a side against Liverpool. We have to use our chances, and to be more clinical in defending in our last row, where we know that we allowed them this 3 shots on target. If they score out of this, make sure that in the next game there's 9 shots on target anyhow. This has to be the attitude, and I think out of this game we can take many more positive than out of the last game, and if I'm really honest. And I'm pretty sure that we'll be competitive at the weekend. So not the favorite, and also not perhaps that everyone thinks, okay, this is an easy win for us at Everton, but we have the chance right now to win also some points back, because at the moment we are 3 points behind our plan, and we want to make sure that as soon as possible we are back on track.
Okay, cheers, Daniel.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom. Okay, finally, Jim.
Hi, Daniel. I suppose there's a great saying in a sport, winning is a habit, but also losing is a habit as well. How worried are you at the moment that habit is beginning to kick in now? You mentioned about a result. Does a result need to come really around the corner fairly soon?
Yes, the only thing is to break the cycle, to be there with results. So that was 30 years ago, and it's the same also in 30 years. So once you are in the top position in the table, sometimes you just even have to watch the ball, and the ball goes into the goal. Yes, and if you're in a bad position anyhow, you have to grind even more a good result out. But this is what you have to do, and we all know this. And it's always the same. So in this times, it's not like to complain too much about the fixture list or unlucky with VAR decisions or unlucky that we even missed penalties or whatever. No, it's more like, come on, go through this, roll the sleeves up, fight even a bit more, be more concentrated. If the opponent has 3 shots on target and scores 3 times, make sure in the next game they have 9 shots on target. And this is more like how you break then such a roll of disappointing results. And this is what we have to do.
And finally, for me, Daniel, just there, I suppose you came in with a game plan there tonight for Liverpool, and I suppose we'll sort of break it down into certain points of the game. Did that really go out the window after 4 minutes, that sort of game plan, in terms of giving Liverpool that lead, where you felt that you were always chasing the game after that?
Yes, in general, of course, it was not helpful once we were back, but it was also due to several changes we made in the team selection today. So some players didn't spend many minutes in the last games on the pitch were today involved. We also changed the base formation. I got the feeling we needed 10 minutes to adapt a little bit to each other. And Liverpool was unable to use during this 10 minutes already more or less their first situation to score. I was pleased with our reaction, because we fought our way back into the game, created many good situations. yet, and of course should have equalized the game, and then the momentum would have been on our side. But because we didn't score, then we were not able to win the momentum back in this game. Yes, but in general, so of course we wouldn't have started like this if it would have been a Champions League final today, or a final against relegation anyhow. But yeah, today we also needed just to rest some players, and also to give some players also a chance today. And if you then have that many changes, and you also have to accept that the first 10 minutes were not spot on. But of course, it wasn't a key that they were able to go and need that soon in the game. Yes.
Cheers, Daniel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, everyone. We'll leave it there. As always, Charlotte will send the recording of both press conferences around very short. Thank you.